Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're live. 1040 O Street, The Ticket, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We're Old School. We are brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese Special Grades at Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 168th and Maple up there in the O, the Metros they like to call it. Beautiful day today on a Wednesday. No breeze, great temperature, sun's out, and it's obviously a good day when it's drastically changed from some of the weather that we've had in our great state of Nebraska. But like we said on the crossover, there's some NCAA news. Little, not too much Husker news, but then we got some NFL news as well. So you know, we'll just dive right into the NFL just because it's a little bit easier. You know, Kansas City Chiefs. You had the picture of, or the video of Patrick Mahomes coming in, first mini camp and off-season workouts for the guys. When this is when things start to get intense. You know, one of the captions was that he had a really good off-season. You know, about his weight and his body and stuff like that. You know, I think when you're a quarterback, you can get away with it. Patrick Mahomes is just a flamethrower with the arm. Obviously, with the Chiefs, this is a different offseason maybe than they have ever had in the last few years. You know, they probably had they went through a time where they had, you know, with the Kareem Hunt, obviously with Andy Reid's son, a little bit with Tyreek Hill. But this is different, you know, coming off a Super Bowl where I felt like they kind of, I won't say backdoored their way into it, but I felt like
Be honest, they did.
They
earned it, but they backdoored it.
Here's what I mean by backdoor, because I think when you hear it, you're like, they got lucky. They didn't get lucky. What they did was, I think if you expected Kansas City to win a Super Bowl, it would have maybe been this year. There was a lot of transition. Travis Kelce looked a little slow, looked like he was, you know, 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in. Obviously, he had, you know, off the field stuff with his relationship with Taylor Swift. But, you know, once Kansas City caught their rhythm and everybody else didn't really put them away, they just fell into a Super Bowl, but they earned it. They became more physical. They became more efficient offensively. They did what they always do. They honed in defensively, and actually the defense was there all year for the most part, but they cranked it up a notch in the playoffs. So that's kind of really what Spags does with his defenses. They go along the season, find out what they really do well. You know, younger players emerge, veteran players emerge. You got to think with Drew Tranquill, who came on a 1-year deal after being a starter at San Diego or LA Chargers, coming over on a 1-year deal, a late signee, ends up re-upping with Kansas City this year in the offseason based on what he did in that late season run through the playoffs, and made some huge plays, big third down stops, so forth and so on. And then you saw the Travis Kelce show, and I think it was on display. Obviously, you had the dust up, or, you know, the pregame talk between the Ravens and the Chiefs, and Tucker was kicking, and they kicked his helmet, and so forth and so on. Then he proceeded to go out and have 11 targets and 11 catches, and essentially showed, you know, why he is still one of the best, if not the best, tight ends in there, especially in the playoffs, cementing himself in the history of the playoffs and Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL history, and then going on to win the Super Bowl. But then you think, like, oh, okay, you saw the emergence of Rasheed Rice, right? And so you think, okay, the guy that they picked in the second round, I think he was, emerged by the end of the season.
Sky Moore.
But for Rice, they kind of were going through growing pains with him last year, learning the system. He had a case of the drops, but it wasn't elongated. But he started to really take over and be like the number one receiver. And you saw him in the Super Bowl as well. You win the Super Bowl, you got a young team, relatively young on defense. You know you're not going to be able to keep everybody, Chris Jones, everybody else. And then you know what? You re-up with Travis Kelce. So you're like, okay, we're going to get him at least for another 2 years. He'll probably be able to play the end of his contract. You got Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have to re-up him, but he has a very cap-friendly contract for being the best quarterback in the league, a la how Tom Brady did it with the Patriots. And then as soon as you just get done with the Super Bowl celebration, obviously you had the stupid, senseless, shooting there, ruin that. Maybe that was just a tell-all sign.
An omen, a precursor.
Rasheed Rice's touchdown in Dallas, and he's going Gran Turismo down the highway. And then then they had reports of him when he was in college, and dealing with success is really hard. And then you have their kicker who was at a commencement, and then obviously he made national news. It doesn't matter how you feel, but at the end of the day, this is a different offseason for them, especially with such a young, impressionable team having to deal with this. Because to be honest with you, Austin, with Buffalo kind of not imploding, but getting rid of Diggs, both their Micah Hyde, and the other safety is gone. That's the bloodline of the Buffalo Bills, right? You think of who can match Kelsey and Mahomes. It was Josh Allen and Diggs. Diggs is gone. So that was really the only team you felt like that could eventually break through. Getting closer. That team is not what it should be. Is immensely talented as Houston is with the addition of Diggs. You're probably they're just maybe not ready yet. They're going to, unless they catch them on the right time.
What better way to announce yourself?
Right situation. And then you just never know with Cincinnati. You thought maybe Cincinnati has the kryptonite in Patrick Mahomes. Well, Joe Burrow, injured his hand, and now you're like, what if? So you felt like going into this offseason that Kansas City Chiefs were the odds-on favorite, without a doubt. I don't care what they do in New York or with the Jets. And then, obviously, this has been a tumultuous offseason so far, and it's early in the offseason.
And Chris Jones hasn't even had his contract drama yet.
Right. And so, it's definitely a unique situation. Patrick Mahomes spoke on it today. Just kind of really, did the corporate thing, said he doesn't agree with it, but he says, you know what, he's and in the right thing. Look, he's been a teammate with Buckner for 7 years. He said, I'm gonna judge him off of his character, what he's a teammate. And the one thing in the locker room, you stay away from politics, religion, and you don't ever jump into another player's contract issues. Those are just kind of three, unwritten rules. And so that's what they're trying to do. But this is a unique offseason for Kansas City, considering where they were, right? Winning a Super Bowl, and then where they were expected to be. This is supposed to be smooth sailing. From the celebration to now, the best thing for this team actually is probably to be there on the football field, in the weight room, getting back to each other, trying to get that connectivity back so they can possibly go back-to-back as a Super Bowl champion.
The rest of the league is loving this offseason, right? Obviously, their focus isn't on what's happening in Kansas City. They have to work on figuring out how to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
How do you out-scheme Andy Reid? I would throw Baltimore into that list of contenders, but it gets harder with McDonald gone, right? Being up in Seattle now. Lamar and that offense, I think, still have the weapons.
Oh, yeah.
But Kansas City's defense was so good, right? And I think, Jay, you can speak to this as a linebacker, too. Like, defense will always be the backbone of a team, right? Even with a team that's quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes. If Spagnuolo's unit can keep its nose clean, can get down to business, we know the Chiefs only need a couple drives on offense to capitalize and make it worth it. With all the drama on offense and special teams, if that defense is ready to go from week one, the league's still in trouble.
Yeah, the league's definitely in trouble because I think Andy Reid, dropped a little nugget last year coming out of training camp. He's like, well, the coverage is a little bit tighter because they were struggling on offense a little bit, at least to their standards.
Yeah.
He's like, well, the coverage is a little bit tighter in training camp. Well, that lets you know them young guys are growing up, right? And they played excellent last year.
No Snead is going to be a loss.
Yeah, Snead's going to be gone, but you kind of knew that before the season. You knew that the way he was ascending as a player, you had to decide between Snead, Jones. I'm going defensive lineman because in Spag's system and the way he's developed defensive backs throughout his whole career, you're betting on him. And also they've drafted well too.
Yeah. Well, let's go through that line of DBs, right? Started with Marcus Peters.
Yes.
Okay. Then he gets too expensive. Then it's Charvarius Ward.
Yep.
Ward gets expensive. Snead's the next guy. Has a couple really good years. Looks like Trent McDuffie is next in line.
But he's the draft pick, though.
Most of these guys were or cheap free agent guys.
Yeah.
Kansas City has done a really good job of shoring up DBs cheap.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe McDuffie breaks the string. Maybe he gets a contract. But until I see it, I just think Kansas City's going to draft a guy next year to be ready in a couple years to learn, grow with McDuffie. He'll walk. and that'll be the next number one guy. It's easier to find a good enough cornerback. It's so hard to find another Chris Jones.
Yeah, and they've done a good job of drafting, because Joshua Williams is okay, and we'll see what's on Jalen Watson right now. And and they've done a really good job of with Justin Reed, because I think what Justin Reed is able to do, he's able to play at all three levels. You can blitz him as a linebacker, you can play like dime safety, but then also he can what we used to call, you can clue out there and help a younger corner, meaning you're giving him over the top coverage, inside leverage coverage, or you can actually get over the top and allow him to play really hard inside, and you're playing on outside. And so, but his position flexibility allows Spags to do everything he wants with McDuffie on the other side of the field. So there really is no loss for them because of schematic and what they've done in development, the way they've developed their players over time. But really, this is the first new time in this new age of media-driven, negativity-driven era for Kansas City. You got to think, because you got to think there was a lot going on. The whole they played the villain, right? With the nobody wants us to win. We're the underdogs. We're not getting respected. They're with the Taylor Swift thing. Well, now you were expected to be, the crown prince, and now you're having an offseason that's not up to standard.
It feels very Golden State Warriors to me, right? Because if you think of the drama that's happened in Golden State, it hasn't been Steph Curry's fault, right? Steph Curry will get brought into it because he's the face of that franchise. He's the heartbeat. Everything with the Chiefs, Mahomes has handled really well. The drama that he's involved in hasn't been about him. It's been his wife. It's been his brother mostly, his dad a little bit last season, but it hasn't been Patrick Mahomes. If that organization stays stable and is able to rebound from this and make it look like nothing happened, obviously it's because of the talent of Patrick Mahomes. But let's not understate the leadership qualities to focus everyone back up, to bring the team together and say, you guys got to deal with that on your own. I'm here for you. I trust in you. I believe in you as the franchise quarterback. But I think Steph and Patrick Mahomes, obviously very different points in their careers, but those two guys might have been doing the best job of any superstars in history of keeping their own name out of the drama as the primary source.
Right, and they've done a really good job of separating themselves from people that are very close to them. And when you think of Steph Curry, him and Draymond came up together. They're like brothers, big brother, little brother, the protector, and the little brother, the golden child, whatever you want to call it. But then also, I think they've done a good job of being mature as far as Golden State is standing on business and dealing with what they got to deal with. Kansas City is a little bit different, because even though Kansas City is the Super Bowl champs, they do have chinks in their armor. And I was assuming that this offseason was like, okay, now our defense is kind of settled, because that was always Kansas City. Even when Alex Smith was there, you're like, yeah, they're going to be fine offensively, but they can't. Remember when Derrick Henry just came in and just ran all
remember that time Indy came back from down 28 on him?
And you just run the ball, right? Because you would just eventually start gashing him, then you'd hit him over the top.
Pittsburgh did it to him. Tennessee did it to him.
So no longer, right? And what made Buffalo challenge them this year, even though I don't think Buffalo was as efficient offensively as in years past, was the ability to run the ball in that game. Now, Diggs dropped the touchdown. Rest is history.
The Ravens just stopped running. They had him on the road.
They didn't run the ball. They ran it in the beginning of the game. So, now we're going to try. We're going to try to go tit for tat for it. We're going to go 7-on-7 against the Kansas City Chiefs. But even with that, they do have chinks in their armor. It's not a foregone conclusion. No. You got to think Cincinnati, where they're situated, their market, they're on a mission.
Anarumo has their number a little bit.
Not a little bit, a lot of it. And they don't fear, they embrace Kansas City. And I don't think Kansas City is fully over, because even though Kansas City beat them last year, it's not the same Cincinnati without a full plethora of weapons. Because I'm telling you, when they see Joe Burrow and he don't blink, Spags knows that's the dude over there that can beat you. But then there's other teams, and you never know what Denver's going to do. Are the Raiders going to be really good? And Khaki is out there. So you got to think, Kansas City and those guys, it's kind of like when New England was in the AFC East and dominate. They knew they could possibly go 5-1, 6-0 just in the division. Well, with khakis out there, and you got to think you're going to get a better version of Denver this year with Russell Wilson gone. Just on that alone, the Raiders are on their uptick.
They hate you. They're
and
coming
they hate
for you.
And they came to your house and beat your head in, right? So they ain't
on
backing,
Christmas, no less.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. And they're not backing down. This is I would say this is a tumultuous time for Kansas City in the sense of you're going to get challenged the most by the teams that know you the most, right? The teams that knew them the most in the past, they couldn't handle them. The Raiders were undisciplined. They would eventually just give you the game. San Diego, even though they were putting up a lot of yards, Justin Herbert would get hurt every game against them because Kansas City's defense was killing the offensive line. And then Denver, you didn't know who was the head coach. You know, I mean, whatever, because they were turning over head coach. It was Vic Fangio, the one dude they had, Sherman or Shermer, John Fox. They was just it was just a pretty much rinse and repeat. Yeah, you might beat us one time, but we're gonna beat you. Yeah, or hack it. That's what we're gonna beat you. We're gonna beat you 4 or 5 times in a row. That is no longer because you got legitimate coaches at every spot. And then also they were going to draft well.
You're sold on Antonio Pierce?
For the Raiders, yes.
Okay.
He fits the Raiders. I think I know Antonio personally. So I got to see him and chop it up with him down at the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, when I was down there with Frost and them, he came in during the spring when he was at ASU. I think he might have been, he tried to see what's up, you know, and he was, you know, I talked to him for 30, 40 minutes, you know what I mean? And just catching up with him. You always knew he would be a head coach. Now, what's going to really be the tell-all is can he take that next step, right? And this is the equivalent of, I had to deal with this when I went from a part-time starter to the guy, right? And so for me, I was just telling the story the other day that, like, you know, the first 6 games in my rookie year, I'm inactive. I'm chilling. I'm just sweatsuiting it up. Somebody gets hurt, I'm up. Not only you're playing special teams. Okay, I'm playing special teams. I think, you know, I came into Kansas City, you know, played a series or 2. You know, you just don't want to mess up, you know. But then next thing you know, somebody gets hurt again. Now you're starting. Okay, now towards the end of the season, now you're starting to put up numbers, right? So now you're on the scene, but you're not the guy yet. And then when you got to go from being a guy that has a good run at the last 6, 7 games of the year or whatever it is, to the guy that they're preparing for, this is what Antonio Pierce is doing. You had the nice little run where you got some accountability, swagger, toughness, energy, somebody that actually wants to be there and be and coach and invested in the Las Vegas Raiders. And you ended the season on a high note and you got rewarded for it. Now everybody's preparing for you to be the head coach, and it's a totally different situation. So
kind of like what Purdy went through at quarterback, right?
Yeah, as a player, yeah, of course. Now because they have more tape on you, Jalen Hurts, right? Right? You deal with success and how you come back to, you know, the sophomore slump after you have success. See a lot of rookies, you know, go through a second-year slump and then they, you know, come back. But I think for the Raiders, where they're at right now, ownership. I like the younger Davis. I still think they could do some better stuff. I like Antonio Pierce for it. I think he could win. I think the players believe in him. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he has a pretty good staff there. I think they're going to get better. They're just in a hard division. You got the best team in the league, the returning Super Bowl champions, and you know khakis is going to come with it, and you know Sean Payton's got the ego that he's got to come with. So it's not the I would say it's not the AFC South, right? So if he was a head coach in the AFC South and you just bring what you need to bring, you know, that's why I think Raheem Morris has a tremendous opportunity.
Yep.
When you compare him to everybody else, that he can really come in there, energy, accountability, toughness, swagger, young talent, right? Some bell cows on each side of the ball, and just let them go, and then you can make some noise and actually maybe you win it 2 years in a row because it hadn't happened. Whereas it's going to be hard to really break through because of Patrick Mahomes. You still got Justin Herbert, and you assume Sean Payton's going to get a quarterback to be feasible, and you need a quarterback as well down there for the Raiders. It's an uphill battle, but I think I think the Raiders are invested in him, just like he's invested in him as much as he's invested in the Raiders.
So if you're an AFC West team, obviously Kansas City is the standard you're measuring yourself by, right? You want to win the division. You get 2 cracks at everyone in your division every year. But let's say Kansas City wins the division again this year. What does it mean for these teams to win? Is it get, one of the first 2 wild card spots and not be the lowest seed? Is it dominate the rest of the conference and take your shot at Kansas City? What does winning mean in a division with Patrick Mahomes?
Let's just say, like you said, Kansas City wins the division
by 2 or 3 games.
By 2 or 3 games. Yeah. Then you need to be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And if you look at a team like the Chargers, right, they probably are the best equipped because they have the second best quarterback.
No wide receivers, though.
No wide receivers, but Harbaugh has shown without wide receivers and his affinity and attention and I guess his thought process on how he slows down the game or he coaches the game, they're gonna run the ball.
Right.
He lets you, they're gonna run it. So, and also they have a quarterback that he feels can make everybody else better. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, you get rid of Keenan Allen, a Hall of Fame receiver. You get rid of Mike Williams.
Everett's gone too, right? Yes,
Everett's gone too as a free agent. But you're hoping Quentin Johnson takes a huge step. Now, Jim Harbaugh has shown that he's able to get guys that have underachieved do better. You think about Alex Boone out there in San Francisco, kind of a situational starter, challenged him, got him to where he was a Pro Bowler, and he got a second and third contract. I like Ladd McConkey as their draft pick. I like him better. I like him really, really well in this system. Really, really good route runner. Tough after the catch. Will obviously deceive you by his looks, but he's a great blocker downfield, and he's going to make the extra effort. Now, where they really are hoping that they really get a lot of, make hay is the running game, right? You got to think they got J.K. Dobbins, who's coming off of injury, and they got Gus Edwards, who fits Jim Harbaugh, by the way, of John Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. So he already has intel of him. Hayden Hurst, who was a factor as a tight end. If he's healthy, then they're right. Because that offensive line, you got to think with their offensive line. Lindsey is a dude. He's their center. You build it from center inside out. Joe Alt, you expect him to be really good, right? Because he was by far the best offensive lineman. And then you got Rashawn Slater.
Yeah.
And Zion Johnson is a dude. He's a road grader. And then you got Jameer Salyer, who's the starter, is going to be pretty good. And you got Bradley Bozeman, who came over from the Panthers, who is a center guard combination. So they have a backup plan if one of the inside guys don't take the huge step. But Zion Johnson is a dude. So this offensive line is built for them to be successful. And then on the other side of the ball, you got Bosa, and you're going to expect him to play well. And you got Khalil Mack, along with Denzel Perryman in the middle. And they're going to have guys in the defense line are going to be good, and their defensive backs, and all with Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. This is a Jim Harbaugh quick turnaround, tough guys on defense. We're going to be tough on the offensive line, and we're gonna out execute you.
I know Jim Harbaugh wasn't the coach for this, but I almost wonder if we see Jim Harbaugh use Derwin James almost Jabril Peppers-ish. Right? I mean, think about
well, they already do.
They do, but is Derwin James going to take that step? Right? When he's healthy, he's that dude. Yeah. Like he's in that Minka Fitzpatrick conversation, right? He's that same kind of player. He's actually slowed Travis Kelce down, in a couple of matchups. He's just not on the field enough for him.
Yeah, I think Jim Harbaugh is going to use him as an X factor because he knows by scouting other teams, if you want to stop Kansas City, you stop Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
That's the guy, money time is Travis Kelce. The only guy that's been able to one-on-one and do well with him has been Derwin James. Mm-hmm. And so I think, but then he also knows Derwin James has that hybrid safety linebacker, not really linebacker, but hybrid nickel linebacker, third down safety linebacker type of build where he can cause havoc as far as coverage, blitzing, but then also he can be an X factor when you need him to make a huge play. And that's the way that Mentor structures his defense. So they're going to accentuate their positives, which is Derwin James, Khalil Mack, and Bosa. the biggest thing Jim Harbaugh has to do, and this might be done through their off-season strength and conditioning program, is keep these veteran all-pro, Pro Bowl players healthy throughout the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see a different looking football team. And what's that going to mean? You're going to see some power. You're going to see them running. You're going to see guys more healthy, and they're going to be more explosive. They are the X factor in the AFC playoffs.
I'm curious to see how this season goes. And I think your point about them being more physical is absolutely going to happen. And the reason I think that's important is because they've had this kind of finesse,
Yes.
LA cool kind of reputation. When you're physical, yes, there's maybe more body blows, but if you're delivering them, it hurts the other guy more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
Maybe they need some of that Harbaugh attitude to start delivering some punishment instead of always taking it.
Well, yeah, they're going to be more physical. There's no doubt about it. And they've, even back when they were in San Diego, the powder blues. Yes, they had LaDainian Tomlinson, they had Lorenzo Neal, but they always were finesse.
Yeah,
they were never a team that can finish. Right. And so what is Harbaugh going to do? He's going to make sure that they finish. Mm-hmm. He's going to challenge them, and then when they get into training camp, as much as possible is going to be a physically taxing, as much as mentally taxing training camp, which is going to allow them to lessen the talent gap. And the biggest glaring position or talent gap position that they have is at the wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. Can he step up? I would like to see them keep Keenan Allen just for like a bridge year. Can we get a hometown discount or a friendly deal? Make you happy, make us happy. To understanding after this year, probably going to be gone. Trading him to Chicago doesn't do anything for him, and you didn't get enough draft capital back to say, you know what, we're going to get somebody that's eventually going to be up to that standard. He came off his best year, because I'm okay with Mike Williams leaving because he's injury prone. Mm-hmm. He got injured again last year. You can't count on him. Keenan Allen is essentially rinse and repeat, and he plays the biggest in the biggest games.
Yeah,
and he strikes the fear in defensive court. He strikes fear in the defensive coordinators and their mindset. So he makes them lose a little sleep. But with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, come back. We're going to talk a little NCAA talk that we talked about yesterday. The ACC decided to jump in bed with the Big 12. Set forth, I think 2025 is Austin, that they're going to bring everything in-house and be playing. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to back pay some athletes because they weren't able to take advantage of the NIL. Who will be next and who will react next, and what does this mean for the base or for the whole, as a whole for NCAA football? Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Join us this Friday, May 24th for Old School, live from 4 to 6 p.m. for the brand new rooftop at Beer House at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. We're helping unveil their new 40 Torches beer in honor of the 40th year of the Cornhusker State Games. Don't miss it. Old School, this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Beer House.
By now, most of you know how important the Honda of Lincoln sales and service team are to the Lincoln market. Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear from Honda of Lincoln to tell you about the great news they just received. Andy, please tell us all about it.
Each year, the Lincoln Journal-Star has an award program called the Lincoln Choice Award, where the customers in Lincoln get to choose the best places to do business. Great pleasure, I get to announce that Honda of Lincoln has won the award for buying new cars, used cars, automotive repair, and even oil changes.
That is amazing, Andy. Any more good news?
Yes, there is, Charlie. We now have more than 100 new Hondas in stock with hundreds on and a huge selection of all makes and models on our pre-owned lot.
Incredible. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through May 28th is the Mystery Box promotion, a $225 value for only $99. That includes 3 8-ounce fillets, 2 4-ounce fillets, 4 New York strips, and 4 8-ounce sirloins. Also, $2 off all Bear and Burton sauces. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska's always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Far too many kids in our community face extreme challenges due to homelessness, abuse, and neglect. Despite the troubles these kids face, we believe in them. Believe in giving them the safety and stability they deserve. Your gift on Give to Lincoln Day will help us provide services to meet kids where they're at, while also showing them how far they can go. Please make your gift to Cedars on Give to Lincoln Day.
Gaina Trucking is hiring for heavy equipment operators and a heavy equipment mechanic. Working at Gaina Trucking is a great career with excellent team culture, with benefits package including competitive pay based on experience, health, vision, and dental insurance, and a 401k plan. If you're looking for a new job as a heavy equipment operator or mechanic, apply online at GainaTrucking.com or call 402-794-5000. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old school, we're back. Look at this out here, Austin. You got the sunshine and no wind, man. In Nebraska, I don't know if you're outside. This is a perfect grilling day. But before break, we said we're going to get into some NCAA talk. And so yesterday we talked about the Big 12 was the first one of the Power 5 conferences, or actually Power 4 now, to I guess admit or go into an agreement that everything's going to come in house and they're going to pay the athletes, I guess, somewhat as employees. Obviously, the details haven't been worked out, but as a conference, they had a unanimous vote that they were all in favor of it. The only two teams that decided not to vote was Texas and was it Texas or
I think Texas and Oklahoma.
Texas and Oklahoma because they're leaving. So all of them decided to go ahead with it, and then just within 24 hours, the ACC joined. And so everybody's like, okay, well, this eventually every conference is going to jump in. I wonder if the ACC and the Big 12 are going to try to band together because they feel like they're on the outside looking in. You got Florida State and North Carolina thinking about leaving the ACC. They're trying to lawyer and court them to stay in the ACC. But I think the ACC and Big 12 realize in order for them to be somewhat sustainable, they have to be those two have to be in partnership because because they feel like the Big 10 and the SEC might just take their stuff and do their own league. And then now you two can be the top dog and kind of go, be the counteract to those two, or the first ones to the table. You've done it right and know what's going on. So then you can maybe get an advantage if they come in too late.
Reading about this was interesting on a couple of levels. I think there's going to have to be something done if you're the ACC and the Big 12, right? You can't sit back and allow those other two leagues to pass you by even more than they already have.
Well,
right?
To increase you can't allow them to increase the gap.
No.
And
which is already massive.
It's already massive. And it seems like up until the last 2 days that the Big 10 and the SEC were just staying pat and just letting the gap was continue to get bigger by not doing anything.
Right.
We're already the best. We put the most teams in the college football playoffs. We'll put the most teams in the 12. You guys can't compete with us. We just got Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and USC better than anything that you guys accumulated. We took everybody, the teams that had the best year in their minds from the last year of the Pac-12 or the Pac-10, whatever you want to call it. They have to be together, whether they like it or not. They would be. I don't mean to cut you off. They would be smart to join as some sort of, I don't know, regional. You know what I mean? Like they need to join together to try to increase their percentage of the pie.
Right. Kind of consolidate media rights to some degree, create a lot of these big matchups. If they're not going to do that, at the very least, their leadership has to be on the same page.
Right.
How are we going to proceed? Neither of us is in a position of power. We have to be in lockstep, right? We can't allow SEC money to sway the ACC. We can't allow Big 10 money to sway the Big 12. I think that's what Yormark and Jim Phillips are talking about right now. Yormark's kind of a wild card to me.
Yeah.
I think he's been pretty good for the Big 12, but he's still really new. Jim Phillips, I think, was thrown into a really tough position that he didn't know what was going to happen. I don't think he's been bad, but he also hasn't been the answer to the problem.
Right.
I wonder if the ACC, because of Jim Phillips' leadership, because you have so many academic schools in the ACC, I almost wonder if your Virginias, your Carolinas, your Wake Forest, your Georgia Techs are almost more aligned mentally with the Big 10, whereas Clemson, Miami, Florida State, maybe they're more aligned with the SEC. So there's going to be some infighting with the commissioner, maybe pulling more toward a Big 10 mindset.
Exactly. And that's where, if I'm the Big 12, I'm on red alert because you barely got a team in the college football playoff.
Right.
And prior to that, every time Oklahoma got in, they got embarrassed.
Well, they had one good game with Georgia.
Yeah. One good game with Georgia, but most of the time against Alabama, you were with the Kyler Murray, you down 28-0 at halftime. You're getting mollywop. That's where the ACC is tricky. And Phillips, he has to. This is why it's so crazy, because you have Phillips, who got thrust into a situation, a no-win situation. Now he's already made one step. Okay, I have my bases covered. That eventually it's all going to come in house. Okay, we're second there. But what you have to worry about with a guy like Phillips who's on not thin ice, but getting the thin ice is starting to melt. Does he go into survival mode?
Right.
So if he goes in, survival mode, then you could just blow the whole SES or ACC up and start, finding ways to just split it up, and some go up north to the Big Ten, go into the SEC. Now you're down essentially to the Big Ten, SEC, and Big 12, and the Big 12 will be the next to go. And then essentially you will have just maybe two divisions, and
AFC,
you go
NFC.
Right, and you just go at it. And so that's where I think it's going. That's where it could be, but that's where I think it could go. And with Clemson also wanting to get out of there, Florida State wanting to get out of there, Miami's always down to get out. And and you used to think that Florida could block them going in it. No more.
No.
With what Florida got going on, you have Florida doesn't even get a vote. They'll have a coup without them, as far as it meeting. And then with North Carolina and Virginia, all those type of schools, Georgia Tech, with the Big Ten and basketball schools as well, you're covering both bases.
Yeah.
Now on the outside, or the other part of this big thing is, does any type of agreement separate it and just say, you know what, we're going to reset the whole table just for football, and then we'll keep everything set as far as like all the other sports, or maybe they do football and basketball.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's like the I had this in my back pocket. Surprise. We got something. This is a new, bigger, TV type of deal, especially if they go to 16 teams. You could go 8 and 8. You can go 5 and 5 and have 3 wild cards. You can make it, you can dice it up all the way you want it, or you can expand it, eventually, because, we just had 12, you got 16. And now, mess around and get 20, 24 and see what happens. So,
FCS already has 24.
Yeah.
So there's a path to make it work.
And you have a Cliff Notes, and you've seen it work. And so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes and how things start to come out. It's Wednesday. I doubt it. I'd probably say after Memorial Day.
So here's this. I was reading an ESPN article about this. The other 3 conferences are going to vote. You say other 3 conferences. Well, here's the thing. Big Ten is going to vote on whether or not they want to approve the settlement or not. SEC, going to have to vote this week. It's already scheduled. The Pac-12 schools, at the time the lawsuit was filed,
they have
to vote.
So
not with their new conferences, as a Pac-12 member,
that's
and then
why
the NCAA Board of Governors.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear more before the weekend, because all these votes are already scheduled.
Yeah. And when it comes out, because all these conferences do have egos, and they want the most clicks and they have their brand out there. Does it come out tomorrow? Does it come out Friday, or does it come out at some point in time, Saturday or Sunday, and getting the most out of the news cycle? It's eventually all going to happen, when it happens and how it happens, and then once it's all done, what's the reaction? That's the crucial thing. What's the reaction? What comes out of this after everybody else jumps in there? Because then the clock is really ticking. Because if it's 2025, you understand, okay, this season is going to go just as normal. Well, then but the middle part of the season, you're going to start to hear what's going to be coming down the pipe.
Are you more interested in the 1 to 2 year reaction, or the 5 to 10 year reaction?
I think, the 5 to 10 year, because I think it's going to change 2 times. I think that you're going to have your initial reaction. Okay, this worked. If it was really good, let's add. They're not going to take away. They're going to keep adding to it. They're going to change some stuff up, because I think like in the middle part, probably in between that 4 and 8 year mark, and when I talk about 5 to 10, that's where I think they're going to really try to make a big move. Whether that's just 2 power conferences, or you do the regulation and deregulation thing, or you do the regional thing that we've seen, or you expand college football playoffs from 12. By that time, it'd be 24, or eventually 24. I think that what they'll do with these TV contracts and the big money is they'll get it. They'll put out a product that's sellable and exciting. And then they say, we're going to go even farther, and we want more money. And then it'll be a college football will not even be looking like close to what we see it right now. Matter of fact, we might be able to find a way to change it on NCAA 25 coming out.
Right.
Yeah, you might be the commissioner, and Commissioner Foreman make it to a little bit of a deregulation and regulation and see where it goes. I think also on the flip side of that, I think you can opt in or out to still have collectives outside of NIL going in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Who decides to do that and how that can work together, right? You got it. If you move your NIL in-house, okay, well, what collectives will you have outside of your athletic department? Will it be for everything but football? Will you just have that in-house collective for your big major money makers? And then obviously it'd be divvied out. But if you're going to have another collective that doesn't want to come in-house, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And how many more collectives decide to come out of the woodwork?
Right.
You know what I mean? They say, okay, look, we want to be partner with you, but we don't want to come in-house. We're going to do our thing outside along with donate as well, because there's only so much money that can be donated, right? So you're going to have to be very, very smart and strategic about when it goes in-house and who will be okay with it. Because there's some people with a lot of money that don't like to be controlled.
That's most of them.
Yeah, well,
they're used to doing the controlling.
Yes. And so, and it's not their main job,
mm-hmm.
right? And so this is money that they're able to give away and get used by the university. So anyways, 2 good segments there. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman. Take a quick break. We're going to come right back and we're going to give our prediction without Strick tonight. First game, Timberwolves, Mavericks. Who has the advantage and how important is this game 1 for a young team, the Timberwolves, going up against I wouldn't say veteran team, but you have a NBA champion in a NBA champion head coach.
Mm-hmm.
How important is game 1? Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Summertime is here. Now through May 26th, enjoy USDA Choice Whole Beef Brisket for $3.99 per pound, all-natural bone-in pork shoulder for $1.88 per pound, 8-ounce USDA Choice New York strip steaks for $6.99 each, and Frito-Lay party-sized chips for $3.88 as a congrats to all 2024 graduates. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds with an afternoon high around 75. Tonight, mainly clear skies with an overnight low around 53. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, but showers and storms possible in the afternoon. The high around 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
By now, most of you know how important the Honda of Lincoln sales and service team are to the Lincoln market. Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear from Honda of Lincoln to tell you about the great news they just received. Andy, please tell us all about it.
Each year, the Lincoln Journal-Star has an award program called the Lincoln Choice Award, where the customers in Lincoln get to choose the best places to do business. Great pleasure, I get to announce that Honda of Lincoln has won the award for buying new cars, used cars, automotive repair, and even oil changes.
That is amazing, Andy. Any more good news?
Yes, there is, Charlie. We now have more than 100 new Hondas in stock, with hundreds on the way, and a huge selection of all makes and models on our pre-owned lot.
Incredible. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's truck month at Koppel, and we want to sell them all. Choose between 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list price. Yes, you heard right. That's 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list on select new GMC and Chevrolet inventory. So please make that money-saving drive to Coppell and Louisville, or check us out online at coppellcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Gaina Trucking is hiring for heavy equipment operators and a heavy equipment mechanic. Working at Gaina Trucking is a great career with excellent team culture, with benefits package including competitive pay based on experience, health, vision, and dental insurance, and a 401k plan. If you're looking for a new job as a heavy equipment operator or mechanic, apply online at GainaTrucking.com or call 402-794-5000. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, old school. Quick segment here before we get to the 5 o'clock hour. Game tonight, I think, is at 7:20.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Timberwolves, Mavericks, Western Conference Finals. I'd probably say before the playoffs, you didn't think either team would be here. I think because obviously you expected the Nuggets to be here. I doubt you think well, I can't speak for you, but I didn't really think Dallas could get past OKC. I felt like OKC was just too young and too talented.
I thought Oklahoma City was going to make it. I wasn't as surprised by Minnesota as I was by Dallas. Now, Dallas was really good after the All-Star break. I was kind of a Clippers believer, maybe a Clippers hoper.
Yeah.
I'm probably got to jump off that ship, too.
I'm out on the Clippers.
Yeah.
I'm out on the Clippers. I just think that this was the year, right? Mm-hmm. Somewhat healthy, and they just couldn't get out of there. I just think this is just a lot of talk, and I just felt like the Nuggets were primed to. I just felt they had more, obviously, championship pedigree than the Timberwolves. I felt like offensively they had more firepower. I still believe they have the best starting five in the league. The problem is they don't have the bench like they had last year. Reggie Jackson didn't, he was really good when he was the eighth guy off the bench. Now he's a sixth. He's not as good. And you got rid of guys like Jeff Green and Brown, who were stalwarts, championship type of guys. And the Timberwolves, obviously got Anthony Edwards, and I wasn't completely sold on Karl Anthony Towns, but I think through a 7-game series, he's going to give you 5 really good games. And Game 7, that was his game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy that really has stepped up is besides McDaniels is Ben Nasri. He's a matchup problem because he has stretch 5 possibilities like everybody else, but he can get downhill off the dribble. He can run the floor, so Joker's not going to be able to, he can pick Joker up early so they can't get into their sets. He can nullify maybe Lively a little bit and PJ Washington because he's really good on pick and rolls and switching.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rudy Gobert is getting exposed, you got another 7-footer coming in along with Karl Anthony Towns. I'm really surprised how well that they've continued to be able to play defense. They actually play it better as the series goes on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gives me excitement for him, but then also I think it gives them a little bit of advantage.
Do you remember Kenneth Faried?
Yes.
The Manimal?
Yeah.
I think Naz Reid is a better version of him.
Yeah. More offense,
better feet on defense, similar rebounder, maybe give the edge to Faried. Jay, I've got Minnesota tonight because they start fast.
Yeah.
Right. My issues with Minnesota come later in the series offensively, right? They can get a little stagnant. They can get a little broken down. The defense tightens up.
Yeah.
The offense almost gets a little too loose, a little too stand around,
Yes.
maybe not as creative.
One-on-one.
Right. So if I'm Minnesota, I want this over in 5, maybe 6. If I'm Dallas, I trust my depth and athleticism and the fact that they've been in the Western Conference Finals before somewhat recently. Maybe this next shot will do it for them.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good series. I think Minnesota's going to, I think they're going to pull through and win this series. I think you're going to see guys like Ryan Anderson have a big game because I think he's a spot, or Kyle.
Slow-mo.
Right. Ryan Anderson is the other one. I keep but I think with him being a 6'7", 6'8" spot up shooter, and he's not on the first or second page of their scouting report, but in series like, series like this, guys like that pay dividends. Haven't played a lot of minutes, but can give you that 13-point game. That's a backbreaker.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, 13
late shot clock, broken play, something.
13 points from a guy like that you don't expect it, and you can't be like, oh, we gotta wait. We got to sit around to game 6 or game 5 and 13 points come at the most inopportune time for a defense and most opportune time for an offense. He will have a big game at one point in time in the series. And I think their defense as a whole, with their length, they're able to stymie the lanes that Kyrie likes to get in and that Luka likes to operate in off the ball when Kyrie is on the ball. So Timberwolves hopefully win tonight and continue forward. And Ant-Man continues to ascend to the top of the NBA rankings as the best player in the league. But we're going to go take a quick break. I'm going to step out. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through May 28th is the Mystery Box promotion, a $225 value for only $99. That includes 3 8-ounce fillets, 2 4-ounce fillets, 4 New York strips, and 4 8-ounce sirloins. Also, $2 off all Bear and Burton sauces. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Join us this Friday, May 24th for Old School, live from 4 to 6 p.m. for the brand new rooftop at Beer House at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. We're helping unveil their new 40 Torches beer in honor of the 40th year of the Cornhusker State Games. Don't miss it. Old School, this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Beer House.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
There are over 1,000 kids in Cedars Care today. We're here to ensure that each of them receives safety and stability they deserve. But we need your help. A gift to Cedars will make an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further with the available matching funds. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincolnday.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln kids today.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch your favorite MLB teams this spring and summer, as well as Nebraska baseball. Enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early and grab your spot and settle in for an afternoon or evening of baseball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
If you've been putting off your health, what are you waiting for? The summer 10-week challenge at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is exactly what you need to kickstart your wellness. Farrell's gives you all the tools, coaching, support, and accountability you need to be successful. The 10-week challenge begins on June 8th, and monthly payments are now available. Head to fxblincoln.com for all the details. Stop taking your health for granted and get started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour Hour 2 of Old School on a Wednesday afternoon in the capital city. I'm Austin Norman. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're on your drive home from work, just a couple more days before an extended Memorial Day weekend. You're still sitting at work. You're going to work if you're working the night shift. Whatever it is, appreciate you dialing up Old School here on 93.7 The Ticket, as well as theticketfm.com. Old School brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. As Jay Foreman would say, every type of meat and every type of cut. 2 Lincoln locations at 84th and Havelock, as well as 30th and Yankee Hill. Also an Omaha location at 168th and Maple Street. Go check them out. It is grilling season. It is officially upon us. Jay made the comment that today would be the perfect day to grill. Yes, still as could be. Sun is shining, warm, not overly hot. Temperature sitting at 74 degrees here in the capital city. Chamber of Commerce day, as they would call it. Beautiful day as the Royals beat the Tigers 8-3. We'll get into that here in just a second. If there's anything on your mind that we haven't gotten to today, let us know. 402-464-5685. We got an hour to go over what you want to cover. If you don't come up with anything, I'm just going to talk about the Royals for a while. They're fun. I'm enjoying myself. I am the Will Ferrell anchorman. I don't know what to do with my hands. Or was that Talladega Nights? Either way, I know it's Will Ferrell. I don't know what to do with my hands. That's me with the Royals right now, y'all. 13 games above 500 right now. It's incredible. 1 week from tomorrow, Give to Lincoln Day. Last year, we partnered with Cedars, great organization here in Lincoln. Guess what? We had a great time. They had a great time. The city of Lincoln did a lot of good for the youth at Cedars, the organization of Cedars. So a week from tomorrow, on May 30th, will be Give to Lincoln Day, and we will be out there again broadcasting from 6 a.m. with early break to Old School, finishing up at 6 p.m. We'll be out there. We want you to stop by, say hi. If you have some wiggle room and you can find it in your heart to give to Cedars on Give to Lincoln Day, please absolutely do that. Great organization, great people there. One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a kid. Cedars started because one couple believed they could provide a child with a better life. That belief grew into the Cedars we know today. A powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows. Give to Lincoln Day, Thursday, May 30th. Again, 402-464-5685. If you've got anything to ask about, to comment on, I am here for you. This is a show of the people here in hour number 2. Big Bang Hank, let's go Royals. Amen, brother. A-M-E-N, amen. 8-3 winners over the Detroit Tigers today. The Kansas City Royals alone in second place in the American League Central. They're a game and a half back of Cleveland, who we'll get into in a little bit, because the fact that Cleveland is 15 games above 500, is 32-17. You know that Jose Ramirez is really good. Shane Bieber, I don't think, has pitched for them this year. At least he got hurt at one point. Stephen Kwan is okay. I think they still have a Naylor. Josh Naylor, I want to say, is the psycho that gets Cleveland fired up. I can't tell you the second thing about the Cleveland Guardians, but they sit in first place in the AL Central. More importantly, though, the Kansas City Royals, after today's win, 32-19, 13 games above 500. Y'all, the last time the Royals were 10 games above 500 or more, they won the World Series in 2015. The Royals are off to their best start to a season since 1976. 1976, 48 years ago, was the last time the Royals were as good as 31-19 through their first 50 games. That 2015 World Series winning team, only 30-20 through 50 games. Only 30-20, I say, tongue planted firmly in cheek. The story for the Royals today, again, 8-3 winners over Detroit. You heard it right here on these radio airwaves. We do consider ourselves proud to be the Kansas City Royals affiliate for you here in Lincoln. Cole Reagans did the dang thing. Maybe his best start of the year. Cole Reagans got hit around a couple times, ran into some bad luck with one start. He's only 4-3 on the year, kind of getting the Zach Greinke treatment, right? If there are any Royals fans out there who remember the prime Zach Greinke days, right? 2008 to 2010, 2011 or so in Kansas City. Before he got traded to Milwaukee, Zach Greinke did not get run support from his offense. Cole Reagans has had that same thing where he'll go out, he'll have a quality start, allow 3 or fewer runs, and the offense barely scores. Maybe scores, 1 or 0 runs for him. He's taken some no decisions, but today, Cole Reagans was absolutely electric. He went 6 innings, only allowed 1 hit, 3 runners reached via a walk. Cole Reagans struck out 12 batters in his 6 innings. 12 of the 18 outs that Cole Reagans recorded were via the strikeout. He had 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. 7 of the first 9 outs were via the punch out. I'm starting to think Cole Reagans has refound himself. Last start, also really good. Some people were concerned about his velocity. Guess what? It ticked back up at the end of that start. It ticked back up today. Cole Reagans was absolutely electric. Will Smith came in, did allow the first 2 runs. Will Smith was really the pariah of the first couple weeks of the season. This is a guy that pitched in Omaha for a while, came up with the Royals in the late 2000s, early 2010s, was let go. Of course, Will Smith is most known for winning 3 straight World Series in a row right now. Yeah, he's only been with teams for 1 year. He's bounced around, but a lot of teams like him and whoever he's ended up with has won the World Series. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Anyways, Will Smith gave a couple games away. Against Texas, one comes to mind. A couple against Baltimore, too. And that would have been a great series for the Royals to get. They took 1 out of 2 in Baltimore. Had a shot to at least win the series, if not sweep. And we'll get back to Baltimore here in a little bit as we take a look at the MLB standings and the wins above replacement leaderboard. It's really interesting to dive into here. So Will Smith gives up the first 2 runs of the day for Detroit. It have the Royals lead. Kansas City was only up 4-0 at that point. Will Smith gave up 2. Johnny Leverage, as they call him, John Schreiber, really underrated pickup by the Royals in a trade this offseason. Comes in, gets the final out of that 7th inning. He walked a batter, but no one came around to score on his watch. John Schreiber was acquired via trade from the Boston Red Sox, who are also surprisingly feisty at this point right now. Boston's over 500, not a huge player in the AL East, but the Royals gave up a single A arm in David Sandlin, I believe was the level that he was at, older college pitching prospect for John Schreiber, who's had some really good numbers, but Boston just hasn't been good these last few years. So he went a little under the radar. Kansas City swings a late spring training trade to pick him up, and he's been nails. Only an ERA of 1.25. Angel Zerpa comes in, does allow a run, but he's been absolutely incredible. His velocity's ticked up from the left side. He was a guy that got kind of stuck with that crafty lefty, description. And he was fine, pretty replacement level, but the Royals really seem to like him. And he's really rewarded their faith this year. He was electric in spring training, and he's pitching to a 1.77 ERA, 19 strikes out of 29 pitches here. And he's one of the 3 guys that I think is firmly entrenched in Matt Quatraro and Brian Sweeney's circle of trust. It's Schreiber, it's Zerpa, and then it's James MacArthur, who had a really rough game against the Brewers. Royals were leading. Brewers were down to their final strike. MacArthur gives up 2 hits and then the ultimate go-ahead and game-winning home run. But he bounced back the next night, got the save. His ERA is at 4.15 right now, but the stuff is still there. The curveball is nasty. The fastball has life and velocity. The back end of that Royals bullpen was a big deal in the offseason. Last year's Royals bullpen was one of the worst in modern baseball history, which for a young team that's growing, on the one hand, it's disappointing, right? Because you want a team that's learning, that's young, to feel confident going into the 8th and 9th inning with a lead that they can trust their pitcher to have their backs to back up the first 6-7 innings of work. But on the flip side of that coin is that if there's going to be an element or an aspect of a team that needs help and needs improving, bullpens are one of the most volatile groups in all of sports. It's defensive backs and it's bullpens. I don't know if there's another option out there. So the Royals got reinforcements. Of course, they trade for Schreiber. Zerpa and MacArthur take steps forward. They trade for Will Smith. Or no, they signed Will Smith in free agency. Sorry. They signed his teammate Chris Stratton in free agency. Nick Anderson comes over in free agency. That was one of the big talking points at the end of last year for JJ Piccolo, the general manager for the Royals, was that he said, we need to give Q weapons in that bullpen, Q being Royals manager Matt Quatraro. And the reason that a bullpen is so important for, the Royals, but for Matt Quatraro specifically, is because Matt Quatraro comes from Tampa Bay. That's really where he's cut his teeth over the last, 6, 7, 8 maybe years he was in Tampa Bay. Think about what the Rays have done. The Rays have mined the minor leagues for undervalued guys. They pick out a pitch that is elite. They hone in on it, tell the guy to throw it more, extract all the value out of him for, 2-3 years. He pitches his way into a bigger contract. The Rays don't give it to him. Someone else overpays that reliever, or even that starter sometimes, and they fall off a cliff in a year or two. Matt Quatraro has learned from his Tampa Bay experiences how to mix and match bullpen arms, how different arm angles work with each other, how different spin rates and different types of pitches interact with each other from one at bat to the next. The only thing he really hasn't brought from Tampa is the opener, which we saw in spurts last year, but maybe not as consistently as some people would have liked. And here's the thing, I'm okay with that. I understand the concept of the opener, but that to me is maybe baseball chasing too much of the exact perfect optimum numbers game strategy. There's just something so romantic about a starting pitcher who takes the ball every fifth day, who grinds out, 5 innings in a tough start, and when he's on, can go 7 or 8 and absolutely dazzle. The Royals starting rotation has been one of the biggest stories in all of baseball. Top 5, top 3 in the league in starters earned run average. Best earned run average by a starting rotation for the Royals right now since, again, the 1970s. And that's the dead ball era. Since I think 1972 is the Royals team with the best ERA from a starting rotation. They're at 3.22. The Royals, so far this year, at a 3.11. And that's only going down with Cole Reagan's 6 shutout innings today. Seth Lugo is on the short list of current AL Cy Young candidates. Cole Reagans has pitched like one these last few games and is getting back to the Cole Reagans we saw after his trade from Texas to Kansas City last year. Brady Singer seems to have rediscovered, I think his 2021 Brady Singer. Still needs to throw a third pitch a little bit more, maybe even a fourth pitch if he wants to be anything more than a third starter. But he's qualified to be a number 3 right now, even with just the sinker-slider combination. You look at Michael Wacha, who got more money than Seth Lugo, hasn't been as good, but he's your 4th guy. He's been fine, right? Got knocked around the park a couple times, but you're okay with what you've gotten from Michael Wacha, who was really good yesterday. 6 innings, I believe only the 1 earned run against Detroit, or 2 days ago, because yesterday's starter was Alec Marsh. Alec Marsh, y'all, has been one of the biggest revelations in the sport of baseball. This is a guy that ran up an ERA of, I believe, 5.7 in his minor league career, could not, for the life of him, keep the ball in the yard. He was so prone to giving up home runs. Also struggled with control. Walked his fair share, guys. Stuff was always there. Throws 5 pitches. I think he touched 100 a time or two in the minors, but sits, 96 to 98 somewhat consistently. He was a guy that was in competition with last year's 5th starter, Jordan Lyles. You look at a guy like Daniel Lynch, who's been off to a little bit of a rocky start in Omaha. Tall, kind of lanky lefty with a 4-5 pitch mix. And Alec Marsh won the job outright in spring training. It's hard to pitch in that thin Arizona air, and you always take spring training results with at least 1 grain of salt, if not multiple, if not the whole shaker full. But what Alec Marsh has done so far, he's gone 4-1. Did miss a little bit of time. I believe he missed 2 starts by taking a comebacker off of his left non-throwing arm. But he's appeared in 8 games, win-loss record of 4-1, an ERA of 2.72, but a FIP of 3.28. FIP is fielding independent pitching. So everything that a pitcher can control based on his walk numbers, his strikeout numbers, and his home runs allowed, that is more heavily weighted into your fielding independent pitching. Alec Marsh's numbers aren't that far off. His FIP of 3.28 is only about half a point higher than his ERA, which tells you that what Alec Marsh has done through 8 starts is sustainable. It's legitimate. It's not a fluke. And that's your 5th starter running out a 2.72 ERA in a 3.28 FIP. The other FIPs in the Royals starting rotation are all under 4. I mentioned Seth Lugo, an ERA of 1.8. His FIP of 3.20 tells you that there's probably some regression coming for Seth Lugo, right? If he pitches to a 1.8 all year, it'll be one of the best campaigns in baseball history. He's a first-time, full-time starter, so I don't expect that to continue. But if you tell me his ERA ends up at 3.2, that's an incredible value bargain signing for the Royals. The first 2 double-digit strikeout games of his career have been his last 2 starts. Seth Lugo's been incredible. Brady Singer, 2.7 ERA, 3.19 FIP. Again, just about a half point of difference, which tells you what Brady Singer is doing is sustainable. I mentioned him and only having 2 pitches. He always walks the tightrope on the razor's edge a little bit more than these other guys, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that Brady Singer sustains this. Michael Wacha has the worst ERA in the group at 4.45, which is your 4th, 5th starter territory. He's only 4-4 on the year in 10 appearances. He's allowed the most earned runs on the team with 28, tied for the most walks in the starting pitching staff. And of the guys that have made double-digit starts, has the fewest strikeouts. But even his fielding independent pitching, his FIP number, again, is half a point lower than his ERA, which tells you, hey, maybe Michael Wacha's been a little unlucky. If he can get that ERA under 4 and he's the 4th best starter in this rotation, yeah, sign me up for that. And then Cole Reagans, right? The story coming into the year, the Cy Young breakout candidate, the tall lefty, the revelation, the diamond in the rough that the Royals dug out and refined. He's only 3-3, an ERA of 3.7, but in 56 innings, he struck out 64 batters, walked 18 with 1 intentional walk, but only allowed 3 home runs, only allowed 23 earned runs and 49 hits in those 56 innings. An ERA plus of 111 is above average. And again, I think he's improving. His FIP is at 2.57. So a full point and almost a quarter below his ERA, which tells you again, Cole Reagans has been a little unlucky. So his numbers might stabilize again if his ERA and FIP get down to probably, I would guess, 2.8, 2.9, maybe if it settles at 3, that's probably acceptable. Maybe not the season that you envision from Cole Reagans, but still running out an ERA of 3, being the ace with by far the best pure stuff of any Royal starter and throwing it from the left side tells you the Kansas City Royals have a legitimate weapon in their rotation. You know, not just an individual pitcher as a weapon, but that rotation has been lethal, has been absolutely deadly. The Royals have only been out of 1 or 2 games all year. Let's go to break here because I want to turn the page to the Royals offense. Not bad, not great. What the outfield is doing is historically putrid, which tells you that what the infield is doing is incredible. The top 5 spots in the Royals order are carrying so much water for the bottom, which tells you one of 2 things. The Royals are lucky that they're getting away with their outfield being as bad as it's been for so long, or it's very simple for the Royals to improve. The offense can get so much better. Which one is it? Which one do I think is more likely? I'll talk about that next here on Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you've been putting off your health, what are you waiting for? The summer 10-week challenge at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is exactly what you need to kickstart your wellness. Farrell's gives you all the tools, coaching, support, and accountability you need to be successful. The 10-week challenge begins on June 8th, and monthly payments are now available. Head to fxblincoln.com for all the details. Stop taking your health for granted and get started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Ironhide Construction is a Nebraska-based general contracting and steel construction firm. Their expert team is experienced in building innovative construction solutions across several industries. While they were previously known for their extensive experience in steel erection and metal buildings, they've continued to evolve over the last several years into a full-service general contracting firm. They take pride in their commitment to quality, cutting-edge technology, and having a passion for what they do. For more information about their services or to discuss an upcoming project, visit www.ironhideconstruction.com or call 402-420-4961.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador online at prg-ne.com.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Play ball! Looking for the ultimate change-up from the typical family night? How about a Grand Slam good time with friends and coworkers? Then unleash the fun at Haymarket Park with an action-packed, thrilling season of Salt Dogs baseball. Choose from 50 home games now through August with daily and weekly specials your whole pack can enjoy, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the magic and the excitement. Strike three, you're out! Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today. Unleash the fun.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Quick Big Ten baseball tournament update for you in case you haven't been able to pay attention throughout the day. Game 1 of the day should have taken place yesterday. Got pushed back due to the rain. It was Illinois and Penn State. The Nittany Lions, the 8th seed in the Big Ten tournament, upset Illinois. Final score of 8-4. Second game of the day took place and just actually wrapped up a little while ago. Michigan walks off Iowa. And I mean that in the most literal sense. A walk-off, bases-loaded walk in the 10th inning. So Penn State and Michigan will be playing. They'll get the day off, and then they'll play, or maybe they play tomorrow. Bracket appears to not be updated or set yet, but it'll be Michigan versus Penn State. And of course, tonight, Nebraska versus Purdue. Loser, if Purdue loses, season's done. If Nebraska loses, they await their regional fate. The winner of this game will get a day off tomorrow, and then they will await the loser of Indiana and Ohio State. Okay, back to Royals baseball. One more note on the pitching side. Big Bang Hank says, need to be buyers for bullpen. Probably. Depends on the price. It absolutely depends on the price. Before the Royals buy for the bullpen, I would like to see them be in the market for an outfield bat. I don't know if it is fully understood just how bad the Royals' combined outfield has been at the plate. MJ Melendez started off cold. He had a really nice hot stretch of 8, 9, 10 games, and he's been mired in a slump for like the last 2.5 weeks. Nelson Velasquez started off okay, has been in an absolute tailspin, flailing at everything, striking out, which was the worry with him in the trade for the Cubs. Now, he did hit a home run today. We believe he hit a home run in Seattle as well off of Logan Gilbert that gave the Royals the lead and I believe ultimately the win. But the bright spots have been few and far between for Nelson Velasquez. Those are 2-year guys that rotate through playing left field. If you look in center field, it's been mostly Kyle Isbell, who is still borderline elite, if not legitimately elite, with the leather, but man struggles at the plate, which is fine. You can afford a dead spot, especially with such great defense in center field. And not like Isbell has been completely hopeless at the plate. On the year, he runs out a batting average of 220, only getting on base at 267 clips, not really walking much to go with it. OPS plus of 74. So he's been about 26% worse than league average. But again, you can tolerate one spot like that. MJ Melendez has been even worse offensively, and he's a bat-first player. OPS plus of 61, batting average of 180. Nelson Velasquez, OPS plus 76, batting average at 221. He struck out 45 times to lead the team. Melendez, 42 times. And those guys have only drawn a combined 19 walks across their 297 plate appearances. That's not going to cut it. And that's not even mentioning Hunter Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe has hit for 37 total bases all year. All year! His OPS plus, 46. He is half as good, not even half as good, as the average Major League Baseball hitter, which is almost unfathomable, again, for a bat-first player. Second best skill is probably his arm in right field. I think he has 1 outfield assist on the year. Range isn't that great, but man, he's been stinky. Adam Frazier has honestly saved a couple games. One against Detroit where he robbed a home run, and then he hit the go-ahead home run in the 9th inning on the road in Los Angeles, but he's only running out an OPS plus of 57, so 43% below league average. The Royals outfield has a worse batting line than the Chicago White Sox, than the Oakland Athletics. They have a worse batting line than, I believe, every other team in baseball from the outfield. Worse than the Miami Marlins. Worse than the Los Angeles Angels. The Royals' offense is basically middle of the pack in the league, all things considered. Right now, they are scoring. Okay, so they've scored 239 runs, and that does include today. So in 51 games, yeah, about 4.5 runs a game, give or take. Pretty thoroughly league average. To get back to Big Bang Hank's question, to trade for bullpen help, either trade for an outfield bat first. Those guys are maybe a little more expensive, but also make a bigger impact on a day-to-day basis. The best relievers, which the Royals don't need the best relievers, right? It seems like they have 3 good pieces in Zerpa, in Schreiber, and in MacArthur. Really, that's all you need at a high level. Would it be nice to, feel better in the 6th inning with a hold? Yeah, but Stratton's been fine. I'm okay with Chris Stratton. I'm willing to say that's 3.5 arms. Which if the Royals are going to be postseason contenders, that's really all you need, because don't forget, you go to a 4-man rotation in the postseason. Again, if the Royals are to get there, which as of right now, their playoff odds are at 79%. 79% likelihood to make the playoffs. The Kansas City Royals, who lost 106 games last year. Y'all, this is happening. We are essentially a third of the way through the season, and the Royals are on pace for 95 plus wins. Again, last time they hit 95, they won the World Series. Not saying, just saying. The reason the Royals are able to stay afloat despite running out the worst offensive outfield really in recent memory for a team with designs on competing like the Royals have right now is because of just how ridiculously good the infield has been offensively. Obviously, it starts with Bobby Witt Jr. He's hitting in the 2-hole, has all year, had the breakout, 30 homer, 29 stolen base season last year. The rapid improvement and ascension from rookie Bobby Witt, who you could maybe see some signs, but struck out a lot, didn't walk a lot, and was one of the worst everyday defenders in baseball, to last year, where his glove improves and he's a top 5 shortstop defender in the game. The power comes out with a 30, or he almost went 30-50, right? 30-49 is what he did for stolen bases. The power came out, the speed was there, the glove improved. Okay, that's a nice step forward for Bobby Witt Jr., but is he going to walk more? What's that going to look like? Well, Bobby Witt Jr. has already walked 18 times this year, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but for him, it's a big deal. He's walking, 2 or 3% more. He's striking out about 5-6% less than last year when he was already a borderline superstar. Bobby Witt Jr. has made the leap. In case you missed last night's game, Royals fans, the man hit a 468-foot home run. Slider that didn't really slide. He got all of it and then some into the second tier of fountains in slightly left of center field. Then a couple innings later, guess what? 425-foot tank. Basically the exact same direction. The power's there. Maybe being a little too aggressive on the base paths. I think he's 15 of 21 stealing bases now. Some of the best range of any shortstop. He's had 4 or 5 highlight plays already this year where he's running from his position at shortstop into the outfield to make a running catch. Like, he's basically playing wide receiver and showing that there maybe would have been some credence to moving him to center field, except that Jose Alguacil is a soothsayer. He is an incredible infield coach. He has done great work with Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop, who's now one of the best, if not the best, defenders at shortstop in the American League. Bobby Witt Jr. right now is a top 3 most valuable player in baseball. If you look at ESPN's wins above replacement rating, it's Kyle Tucker at 3.5 wins above replacement, Mookie Betts at 3.4, and then Bobby Witt and Gunnar Henderson tied at 3.3 wins above replacement for third. There's a really interesting debate starting, y'all. Who would you rather have for the next 5-10 years, Bobby Witt Jr. or Gunnar Henderson? Henderson's been a little better with the bat. He's hitting long balls. Witt's probably slightly more athletic, has a little bit better of an arm and more range at shortstop, and adds more value on the bases. So again, ESPN has Bobby Witt at 3.3 wins above replacement, good for third. Fangraphs, notoriously tougher wins above replacement. Kyle Tucker at 3.4. Shohei Ohtani, 3.2. Bobby Witt, 3.2. top 3 player in baseball. And then if you look at Baseball Reference, yeah, that's the other one. Again, Bobby Witt Jr., 3.3 wins above replacement, 3rd in baseball, behind Kyle Tucker and Mookie Betts. Kyle Tucker has been the best player on a wildly underwhelming Astros team. The wheels were maybe starting to fall off a little bit for them. They're getting old. They haven't patched as many holes with internal development as you would have thought. Kyle Tucker's here. He's arrived. There were whispers and rumblings of him a few years ago. He was a piece of the title team, but not the star. This is Kyle Tucker's Houston Astro team right now, where Bobby Witt Jr. has the leg up when it comes to potentially MVP voting is if he's in the same ballpark, within 0.2 of a win. Bobby Witt Jr. has been the catalyst for this Royals offense success. He has taken the superstar leap, and he's doing it without as much help as, say, Adley Rutschman, who he will forever be linked to because Rutschman went 1-1, Witt went 1-2 in the draft just a few years ago. Bobby Witt Jr. has made the superstar leap. He is incredible. He's in that tough competition with Kyle Tucker, Henderson, maybe even Juan Soto for the Yankees for AL MVP right now. But Bobby's here. What else is going on with the Royals offense? Maikel Garcia has had a wildly fascinating year. Started out the year on a burner against the Twins. Went like 0 for 37 or something like that just a week or two later. His average dipped below 200. Well, guess what? Now, just a couple weeks after that, it's back up to 263. He had 2 triples yesterday. He has 5 home runs this year after, I believe, just 4 all of last season. Maikel Garcia was a guy who the advanced stats community loved. Good exit velocities, good pitch selection and recognition. Just didn't get the ball in the air enough. Not enough loft on the swing. A lot of ground balls. Eric Hosmer never solved that issue. Maikel Garcia might be starting to. He's batting 263. His OPS plus above league average at 106. You look at Vinny Pasquantino. He's run hot and cold. His glove has improved, but you'd rather have the bat pick it up. Vinny right now only batting 230. He's got 5 home runs and 30 runs driven in. 24 strikeouts to 20 walks. That's a really good ratio. Vinny's got probably the best plate discipline on the team, and I expect that he's going to heat up as the weather gets nicer, the ball starts carrying more in the warmer air. You look at Michael Massey, who was on the injured list with a back problem to start the year, has a little bit of a chronic issue. Massey, of course, out of the University of Illinois. Royals have really liked him and his development. Won a platinum glove in the minor league, so not just a gold glove, but platinum glove goes to the best defender in all of minor league baseball, not just at his level. Michael Massey is elite with the glove, and now his bat's coming around. This is a guy that's hitting 283, slugging 495. He's got 5 homers and 20 runs driven in, and he's only played in 28 games since coming off the IL. He didn't play today against the tough lefty and Tarek Skubal, who, I should note, the Royals handed his first loss of the year. He's 6-1 now as the Royals beat the Tigers 8-3. But guys, Salvador Perez, El Capitan, El Nino, is making his case for the Hall of Fame with the start that he's off to. Salvador Perez, a catcher, top 5 in baseball in batting average. Wild. Salvy's never been a high average guy, right? Always provided pop, which he's doing again this year. He leads the team with 9 home runs, also leads the team with 39 runs driven in. He struck out 31 times, but walked 14 times, which is an incredible accomplishment. Salvador Perez does not take walks. It does not happen. He is maybe the most notorious free swinger this side of Javi Baez. He and Alcides Escobar from that 2015 title team swung at everything. If Salvador Perez at age 34 has learned plate discipline, watch out. It used to be just slider away, fastball up, slider down, slider away, fastball up. With the protection in the lineup of Maikel Garcia at leadoff, Bobby Witt Jr. hitting second, Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez in the 3-4 spot, and then Michael Massey at 5, Salvador Perez is seeing more pitches to hit than any season since he led the league in home runs, and he's doing damage on those pitches right now. Salvador Perez is having one of the best offensive years of his career. Here's OPS plus 169. Salvador Perez himself is 1.5 players with the bat and more. Oh, and by the way, his defensive numbers have trended up. One of the knocks on Salvi was he was a bad framer. Well, guess what? He's 6'5", 240. That's a big dude there behind the dish. It's hard for him to get those low strike calls. That's where he lost a lot of value. I believe it's Paul Hoover, who's been doing a lot of work with Salvador Perez. And his defensive numbers with the arm and blocking have always been good. His framing numbers are league average, if not better right now. Salvador Perez has become a much better baseball player in the last 2 years under this coaching staff, and it's really bolstering his case for Cooperstown. The other part that's helpful about that, he's played some first base, so Vinny Pasquantino can DH, Salvi can DH. Excuse me. And the emergence of Freddie Fermin, a backup catcher, who didn't debut till his age 27 season. He's been a league average bat. I believe he drove in, was it 3 runs today? Let's see. Yeah, 3 RBI for Freddie Fermin today. On the year, Freddie Fermin is a 288 hitter, a 342 on base percentage. He only has 1 home run and 5 runs driven in. But in spot duty, you don't ask anything more of your backup catcher. Guys, the Royals are real. They're fun. They're dangerous. I hope you keep listening to the Royals coverage here on The Ticket. I want to keep talking about them. This has been incredible. I'm going to ride this wave as long as it lasts. And if you're a Royals fan out there listening here on the airwaves, let me know, right? Stay engaged. Keep bringing up topics that you want to talk about with the Royals because I'm your man. I'm loving this, and I hope you are too. Let's take a break, wrap up Old School after this.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring is here, and it's time to wake up Judson. Judson Irrigation is eager and ready to get your sprinkler system up and running for the season. Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies and light winds with an afternoon high around 75. Tonight, mainly clear skies with an overnight low around 53. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, but showers and storms possible in the afternoon. The high around 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join us this Friday, May 24th for Old School, live from 4 to 6 p.m. for the brand new rooftop at Beer House at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. We're helping unveil their new 40 Torches beer in honor of the 40th year of the Cornhusker State Games. Don't miss it. Old School, this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Beer House.
The Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association National Championship is in Lincoln at the Sandhills Global Center this Thursday through Sunday. Come see cowboys and cowgirls go for the national championships riding fast horses and shooting pistols. The event is free to the public, so come on out and watch the cowboys and cowgirls May 23rd through the 25th, with the showcase event starting at 7 o'clock Thursday evening and Friday evening at the Sandhills Global Center at 84th and Havelock. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Does it seem like your clothes dryer doesn't dry like it used to? It may not be your dryer. It may be your dryer vent. When the vent becomes obstructed, it drastically reduces the efficiency of your dryer. Even worse, it can be a fire hazard. Here's the simple solution. Call Bryant. Bryant will thoroughly clean the vent and show you the before and after results. Call 467-1111. Keep your dryer operating efficiently and your home safe. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
I'm Dave Austed. And I'm Ryan Austed. I think my first memory of golf is playing with my dad at a par 3 course. It was an absolute blast, and he always would have an ice cream hole. So if I got an 8 or less, we'd be going for ice cream.
My first memory of golf really focused on driving the golf cart, being able to drive that cart.
You were a crazy driver.
I was a crazy driver, but it was what I look forward to. And what's really funny now, when I take my kids out play golf, that is the one thing, along with the snack bar, that they are most excited about.
Focus on the good stuff. Play better, have fun, and shop Austed's.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One more segment here on Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. I'm Austin Norman. We're talking some Royals baseball. 0096. Hell yeah, the boys are playing some ball. Dang right they are. Hottest team in baseball. They've won 6 straight. Problem is those pesky Guardians. 0177 says, go Indians. They will always be the Indians to me. 0177, your Indians are a pain in my keister. I don't understand them in the slightest, right? Like, Jose Ramirez is good. Steven Kwan still isn't really hitting for power, but he's fine. He actually leads them in wins above replacement right now. Kwase, electric factory there as the closer. But Andres Jimenez, really? He's your 4th best player? David Fry, never heard of him. Josh Naylor, psychopath, but decent baseball player. Ben Lively, never heard of. Shane Bieber only has half a win above replacement. Brian Rocchio, who? Tyler Freeman, never heard of him. Tim Herron, not real. Hunter Gaddis? Nah. I do not understand the Guardians, right? Kwan, who's on the injured list right now, OPS plus of 161. Jose Ramirez, 127. Naylor has a 140 OPS plus. He's already got 12 long balls on the year. He and Ramirez both. It's enough power, and we know that the Guardians now are a pitching factory. Best guy so far has been Ben Lively, who, again, I know nothing about. And part of that's because the Royals and the Guards haven't played yet, which I'll get back to the scheduling here in a second. Lively doing his Alec Marsh impression, right? A 135 ERA plus. Tristan McKenzie, not a great record, but he's been pretty solid. 119 ERA plus. You look at Tanner Bibby has been fine. Logan Allen hasn't been that great, but hasn't been atrocious. And then Cookie Carrasco is back with them. And he's actually been serviceable in terms of giving innings. The bullpen, though, between Kwase, who's been lights out, Gaddis has been lights out, Sandlin has been really good, Cade Smith. The Guardians really, I think, pioneered the pitching development that we see in modern baseball. If it's not them, it's them in lockstep with the Rays and with the Dodgers. I don't know how Cleveland is so good with, again, really only 4 lineup spots and okay starting pitching. But if you look at their Pythagorean record, they're legit. Right now, they're 32-17. Their Pythagorean record, which looks at run differential, 31-18. So they're right where they should be. If you compare that to the Royals, who right now are 32-19, the Royals' Pythagorean record, 32-18. So maybe Cleveland's been 1 game lucky and the Royals have been 1 game unlucky, but I hope we are in for a down-to-the-wire battle in the Central. That is, of course, if the Royals can't run away with it. I mentioned the schedule. I'm going to go at this from a Royals-centric perspective. Royals have already played the White Sox 7 of the 13 times that they'll play them. They're out of the way. Same with Detroit. I think they've played 6 of the 13 that they'll play against them. I think 2 3-game series. The schedule starts getting tougher for the Royals right here. They had a pretty tough stretch that I think they just got through as I roll back and refresh. So yeah, dating back to the series with the Orioles, right? They hosted the Blue Jays, went to the Tigers, went to the Blue Jays, hosted the Rangers, hosted the Brewers, went to the Angels, went to Seattle, and then just got done hosting Oakland before this sweep of Detroit. So back-to-back sweeps, right, with Oakland and Detroit. It toughens up again. Off day tomorrow, Royals go to the Rays, go to the Trop. You know the Rays are always going to be solid, always going to be pesky. This year, they're 4th in the AL East. They're 25-25 overall and even 500. But that's always going to be a solid team that you can't take lightly. After that, you go to the Twins, who have been incredibly streaky. Started the year with a tough schedule. Was looking like they were scuffling, got hit by injuries, faced a weak part of their schedule and took off. Went on an insane winning streak, cooled off a little bit since then, but that series in Minnesota. Then you go to the West Coast first, or you come back home, you host the Padres. You go to the Guardians for the first time in early June. That's a little weird. I don't necessarily love that setup by Major League Baseball, that this is the first time these teams are playing. But at this point, it really is what it is. So you start June with the Padres, the Guardians. You host the Mariners. Then you host the Yankees. Okay, the Yankees have been a surprise to me. They have the best record in the American League by half a game over Cleveland. The Yankees are 33-17 right now. You go to the Dodgers, who are the second best team in the NL right now, behind only the Philadelphia Phillies, which we haven't talked enough about. After that Dodgers series, you continue your West Coast swing with a series at Oakland, then a series at Texas before you come home to face the Marlins. And then over my birthday weekend, you host the Guardians for 4 to wrap up June. June's going to be a challenge. I think the Royals are legit. If they can escape June, with a 500 record in the month, right? Maintain that cushion of, 15 games would be optimistic. But if you can stay 9 or 10 games above 500 after June is complete with the All-Star game up in the windshield, I think the Royals are in a really good spot. Thank you all for indulging my Royals musings over the last hour. It's been a blast. Big thanks to the Mercado for sponsoring the show. After this, take it weeknights. Harrison Arns on the other side. Thanks for listening. Have a good rest of your night.
The Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association National Championship is in Lincoln at the Sandhills Global Center this Thursday through Sunday. Come see Cowboys and Cowgirls go for the national championship